And now, the best 60-ish seconds of your week.
And Philadelphia beats Houston on Thursday night. Unfortunately, it wasn't the Philadelphia Phillies who are in a very short season. It was the Philadelphia Eagles who still have a few games to play. But the Eagles move on 8-0, their best start ever, the only undefeated team in the National Football League. And we'll have to see how that plays out. Meanwhile, the Phillies struggled a little bit Thursday night, dropping a really tense 3-2 decision. Moving on to Houston, we'll have to see what happens as the Phillies send their ace, Zach Wheeler, to the mound against a really tough pitcher for the Astros. It'll be a battle tonight, and we hope that the Phillies will make it a 7-game series. On to more important things, and the election coming up on Tuesday. And the polls are all over the place, but in Pennsylvania, it pretty clearly shows that Mehmet Oz has moved significantly in front in the race for the U.S. Senate. Now, when I say significantly, I mean 2 or 3 points. But when you calculate all the votes out, that's a pretty wide margin, particularly given where the race was just a few short weeks ago. The really defining moment of the campaign, of course, was the debate and the unfortunate performance of John Fetterman in that debate, which gave a lot of Pennsylvanians, both Republicans and Democrats and independents as well, real pause, because they understand that serving in the United States Senate is no easy task, and if you are incapacitated or don't have the ability to do the job, you're not going to be able to perform for the people of Pennsylvania. Beyond that, a lot of issues still remain, both about John Fetterman personally, his inability to pay his taxes, et cetera. He gave a terrible answer on that at the debate. It got kind of muddied out with all of the other answers that were given, but that one remains. Questions about why he wouldn't release his personal medical records, et cetera. But at the core, questions about inflation, crime, the southern border, the issues that are really running to Republicans across the nation and to Mehmet Oz in Pennsylvania. You know, typically, the House races are the ones that are driven by the national narrative. That is one that most Americans say they don't believe that the country is on the right track. They think it's on the wrong track, and they're going to be voting for the party not in power, i.e. the Republicans. But the Senate races tend to be a little bit more, typically and generally, focused on the candidates themselves. But you're seeing now that red wave looking like it's going to sweep in some surprises on Tuesday in Senate races across the country. So it looks very hopeful and optimistic that the Republicans will not only take control of the House, but also control of the Senate. Maybe by a very small margin, but any margin at this point is going to be a whole lot better than what we've had to deal with for the last 2 years. And the Trafalgar Group came out with a poll just yesterday showing the gubernatorial race in Pennsylvania much tighter than the pundits, prognosticators, and media would have us believe. So there's one to watch on Tuesday as well, as Senator Mastriano has waged a quiet grassroots campaign. But folks are now saying that that grassroots effort may have real positive effect on Tuesday with getting out the vote. There doesn't seem to be a lot of enthusiasm on the Democrat side to get out the vote this year. That's a big plus for Republicans, where there clearly is. Folks are marking off their calendars to get to November 8th and get out to vote for a real change. So that one is one to watch. And in Pennsylvania this week, the state Supreme Court dealt a serious rebuff to acting Secretary of State Leigh Chapman, telling her that the votes that are cast by absentee ballot that are undated cannot be counted. They have to be segregated, put aside, and not counted. She wanted that to happen. By the way, she's a real disaster. Somebody that not only doesn't believe in voter ID, but has aggressively opposed voter identification, who doesn't think that there should be prohibition of felons voting, and who thinks it's okay to register people without their consent. That's the record of Leigh Chapman and Tom Wolf's administration on issues involving election integrity. But we'll move past that. And finally, Elon Musk takes over Twitter, fires a lot of people, portends really good things for Americans who believe in free speech. And who's upset? AOC, because there's an $8 fee for super users of Twitter. Interestingly, she qualifies, so she sent some intemperate remarks to Elon Musk about the $8 fee, and he said simply, "Thanks for your input, now pay the $8. That's what we love about Elon Musk. And for now, that is the best 60-ish seconds of your week. Please get everybody you can out to vote on Tuesday, November 8th.